I believe there's a hero in all of us.
You have great powers, only some of which you have as yet discovered.
I'm a superhero,
A real-life superhero.
The world needs extraordinary. We will make you a superhero.
Are you ready to become a hero?
Initiating surprise in 3.
This,
2,
is
1.
The Real Brian Show.
Hello. Well, we are back today. I don't know why I'm talking like this. You know, as usual, it is time to relax, grab your favorite drink, nerd out with us, have fun, end the week right. Remember, no agenda, no format, anything goes here. And, I finally caught the vids. This sucks. I did everything in my power to stay healthy, protect my health, and those around me. But no. I still got it.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
No, I got the COVID. Ain't nobody got time for that. Let's rock it. Well, sweet Norma Baby Jean or whatever your bronchitis name is.
Home slice.
Ain't nobody got time for that. I'll tell you what, man. Oh, look at this, man. I'm looking terrible. How are you today, Captain Influence? Welcome to the Real Brian Show, by the way. I look terrible. I sound terrible. But Captain, you look and sound sexy.
I'm fine. I'm Captain Influence, by the way. I'm great, and you sound and look just fine. I know you don't feel that good, but you don't sound or look as bad as you think you do, I don't think. You got a weak COVID, Brian.
Dude, thank God.
Weak.
Oh, thank God, man. Either that or my body is like rocking strong here, like fighting it off, with my superpowers or something. I don't know, my caffeine powers.
I'm jealous of your COVID. Let's just put it that way.
I know. I think you got Delta, man. I really do. Or something like that, because you got hit hard. And I mean, I've had the symptoms, but whatever. Jeez. So first of all, just for those of you watching right now, let's get the elephant out of the room here. You see this glorious beard/neck beard that is growing right now. I figured if I had COVID, it was time to start the process. Let's go. Let's get this neck beard going. So this is 1 week of just whatever. I haven't shaved in a while. So you've got how many years of growth though?
Go like that.
Okay, look, see? Yeah. How many years of growth do you have?
Oh, I mean, I've been growing it since right before everyone else started growing it. So maybe like 2014.
Okay, so you got 8 years on me, man. I got a week. Yeah. So I'm not going to go that far because this is driving me crazy already. So I think what I'm going to do though is I'm doing the neckbeard challenge because I haven't been able to leave anyway. So who cares? You are the only one seeing me right now, actually, which is a lot. But I don't have to go anywhere. Oh my gosh, now I'm coughing. So I'm just gonna see what happens and go as far as I can, and then I'm gonna shave, I've said this before, shave the face, so all the way down to the chin, beautiful, smooth Steve it, and then from the chin down, it's just gonna stay there, and I'm gonna take a lot of pictures, and then I'm gonna do a video about it, and we're gonna horrify people. I mean, with
then
the
you're
neck
gonna rush to the bathroom and shave it off.
Yeah, because I can't stand it. It's itching. I don't like it, man. But I had to do it. I figured now's the chance. If I'm going to do it, now we go. So
you love your cousin, man.
I know. Well, thank you for thank you, James, for the challenge. And we're doing. I threatened Claire that I'm like, well, when we come visit, I'm going to have the neck beard, and she said
she has to hang from it, right?
Well, no. So then we were talking. She has chickens, like 28, 29 chickens, something like that. And they. Lots of eggs, so they eat them and they sell them, which is really cool. She's got her own little coop. So I thought, well, can I see? I love chickens. I got a chicken right behind me. Where's the chickens? Well, so I'm like, can I see the chickens? Of course, And she said they may not like you with your neck beard. And I'm like, why? Are they going to nest in them? She's like, no, they're going to throw up all over them. Apparently, chickens throw up. Little did I know. I'm learning about chickens. And I asked her, do the chickens have large talons? She didn't understand.
You know what? There's somewhere in the world, there is somewhere in this crazy world, Brian, where people eat chicken vomit. I just guarantee it.
Well, bird's nest soup is bird vomit.
Yeah, I guess that's
with other things. I mean, sorry to disgust you. I've eaten it. It's good. But they use it to make the nest stick together. That's how they work. And it's
like
clear.
The xenomorphs. Xenomorphs do that same
it's
thing.
It's a clear substance, and it's very rubbery, and you eat it. It's a delicacy, I don't know how they, again, it's like, go little bird, go, and then they grab it, and then they take it and they put it in a chilled soup with fruit and other things like that. It's quite good. I'm not kidding.
I know you're not.
You're right, Brian. No, I'm serious. That's
no, I believe you.
I'm up for eating weird things in my day. As long as it doesn't taste bad, I'm up for eating the weird stuff.
Well, good for you. You're more adventurous than I am. Yeah,
that's all right, dude. So yeah, the vids. So I keep saying like I got the vids, and people are like, "What's that? Is that a good thing?" I'm like, "COVID, the COVID,
dude." Get with the time. So you got to tell everybody how you got the vids.
All right. So first of all, Captain, very important client conference. And for those of you who are like, what's a client conference? So I have a client along with our friend Daryl, D-Man is what I call him. D-Man, my man. He and I have been going out to Vegas, quite a few times actually for this company called Hexagon, which is awesome. And they do a conference, and they didn't have one the last couple of years because, well, one, they weren't going to in 2020 anyway. And then, of course, the vids prevented it. So they're back in person. And I was really nervous because, at the time, this is the first time that I have gone out in a mass group of people since COVID happened.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't want COVID. I don't want to take the chance. Everybody knows I've been really, really safe and a little over the top. So, and here's the other thing. They pretty much said, because you're going to be doing 28 interviews / episodes, in 2 days, which is a lot, by the way, for those of you who are like, I think doing 14 podcast episodes in 1 day. It's awesome.
You got lunch at least, right? I mean,
oh yeah, you get, they throw you scraps, and then they lock the door again, but it worked out. So they said, because you're interviewing people from all over the world, which was at least 20 something people, by the way, because we had, some episodes that had multiple people in them. It was so cool. 14 different countries, man. Oh, that was awesome. I love meeting people from other countries. It's such a treat. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we're trying to protect their health, and they did say, if you get COVID, we can't have you come out. And I like, well, there's no backup for me coming out. So I've got to stay safe. Kind of did that, 2 weeks before, be super duper careful, kind of quarantine and stuff like that. And I'm wearing the N95 on the plane. And of course, the only person other than me wearing a mask was sitting next to me, thank goodness. And then everyone else was like, yeah, whatever, COVID's over. So,
no more COVID.
Yeah, and the airport, man, the airports were I've traveled a lot in my life. And when I say a lot, like a lot, I'm not like one of those traveling 50 times a year kind of people, but I've done a lot of travel compared to most. Yeah. This is the busiest I have ever seen airports in my life. Like,
and that was before
wall to wall.
That was before this weekend. And so it's between July 4th and Memorial Day. So
yeah. It's summer.
That's
People
crazy.
They're ready to get out, But I mean, it was like literally like just moving this wall to wall kind of thing all the way through the airports. It was really annoying.
Wow.
And then in Vegas, it's like millions of people descended in on. I mean, it was so many people in Vegas, and I just like, oh my gosh. So I'm thinking like, okay, I don't know how to stay safe from this, but I'm gonna try. But we get out there, dude. I mean, and they put us up at the Venetian as always, and that is an amazing hotel. It's an amazing, and it's huge. Okay, so it
looks nice. I've seen it.
I was curious about this. So some people count steps, and I don't do that, but I was curious to know how many steps I got that first day. So first of all,
if you have an iPhone, it'll tell you without even counting them.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got my watch too. So I was looking. Yeah, well, I know, and I tried counting, but I lost count at about 15,000. So I was looking. Let's see. So the day that I left, you walk basically from the car to your gate at Denver, DIA, and then you get to Vegas and you walk from Vegas to I met up with my friend, and then, we get into an Uber, and the Uber takes us, Lyft to the Venetian. Then you go from the Venetian up to the room, and then from the room down to the conference area where we had our meeting and stuff. And then we set up, and then we walked back to the room. And then we walked down to the In-N-Out. Of course, In-N-Out. We had to do that the first night.
Yeah.
And, it's not that far. I think it's like a mile from the Venetian, maybe. And then back to the room.
Is the In-N-Out on the Strip or is it off the Strip?
Yeah, it's on the Strip, but it's down by the Link, if you're familiar with the Link.
No.
It's in between like Harrah's and, I don't know, Paris or something like that. I don't know, actually know what was next.
Crazy enough, Brian. It has been, last time I was in Vegas was 1999.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And the Link wasn't there in 99, by the way, either. So that would be why you didn't know it. So anyway, that's okay. You're probably thinking like, that's not that big of a deal, right? If you've never been to Vegas. That was approximately, of what I just said there, was well over 6 miles of walking.
Yeah.
That's
Vegas
it.
is a lot of walking.
It's because of how big everything is. And that's the thing. I wasn't even trying. You just kind of go like from the room down to, so this was the other thing, like during the day, you'd get up, I put my watch on, I'd go down to the conference hall, we'd do our thing, you'd go get breakfast and back. And this is all within the same conference area. Then you go get lunch and back, and you go back to the room, and that's it, right? That was 4 miles. So it blows my mind how big these casinos are. And so, I got plenty of walking in, but anyway.
And then you could walk all the way over to Lake Mead and see how empty that thing is right now. But that would be another, like 40 miles round trip. So
that was a different one. Yeah. We didn't go over Mead. We went over the other one, which I'm spacing, but
Havasu?
Probably.
No.
Is that what?
No, that's north.
Yeah. I don't even know. The lake we went over was still full, so that was the other one. But
really? Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't Mead though.
Okay.
But anyway, so it went really, really well. Like I said, we had some phenomenal conversations. It was cool. Like usually people cancel, and no one canceled. Yeah. Everybody showed up. They were prepared. Great conversations. Great interaction. with these guests. I even got to interview apparently a very famous astronaut in Canada. I didn't know how famous he was actually. And I kind of thought, well, let's be honest, guys, and this sounds kind of ridiculous, but we know about the U.S. space program, but I was never educated on the Canadian space program ever. Yeah, I don't know anything about it,
Well, I think the Canadian space program kind of piggybacks on NASA, right? Because they don't have a spaceport.
But it's still a big deal, but we just didn't know how big it was. And so anyway, for you Canadian viewers and listeners, Dr. Robert Thirsk, if you've heard of Dr. Robert Thirsk, if you know astronauts and you live in Canada, you probably know who he is because he's got a high school named after him too. So apparently he's a big deal. And I was just like, so, he came in and we're just a really, really nice guy. We had an incredible conversation. The guy's a kind of a slacker, if I'm being honest. He's got a doctorate in something. He's got a master's at MIT. He's got a doctorate of medicine. He's got an engineering degree.
You had me at Masters at MIT, man.
Kind of a slacker. Not really that. I wish you would try a little harder in life, but
yeah, most of us actually, at least we put a little more effort into our daily lives than that.
Yeah, I try a little harder than that.
Canadians, I don't know.
Yeah, I only have a master's in business, so clearly I've done a lot more than he has. So,
right.
My gosh. So that was just some really, really neat interviews, though. Really cool stuff on sustainability and something I think would be interesting to chat at some point because how. And this is, we're not going to get into the environment or anything here because I don't want to, this is not about opinions, but how people have their opinions, like, oh, it's this and no, it's not, it's this, these guys are coming in with technology and they're saying, yeah, we've been measuring this and we've been, like one guy came in and said, we can actually measure down to, it was a little beyond me as far as how specific their data can go, but they can say like, we can take a single human's carbon footprint and tell you what the effect on the environment that human's carbon footprint is. Like that's how specific it is. And so then they can talk about, well, if you do this, then this, and we can predict things. And I was like, you have all this data? Yeah. And I'm like, are you sharing it? Like, oh yeah. It's just people don't want to hear it. And I was like, interesting, So it was very fascinating because, as someone who's stepped back and said, look, I've always said this, I'm not a firsthand person. I don't know what's actually killing the environment or not. I'm not there. Talking to these people who actually are studying it and actually have data right in front of them, it's like, see, that's what I've been wanting to see my whole life is that what, but here's the good news, by the way, for those of you who freak out about the environment. He said that if we take steps now, everything can heal and it will be okay if we start taking steps right now, which they said that we are, some aren't, So that was encouraging. I thought, cool, we've got chances, so. Hey, this is someone with data, whether you believe it or not. This person actually has. Oh no,
I believe the person wholeheartedly. I just don't share their optimism. That's all.
Well,
but we're optimistic, aren't we?
I'm an optimistic person, so I said, good. What do we start doing? And he has some cool things. And that's the other thing too is these people are getting creative. Like this company does a lot with mining. And so typically you go and you just, mine rock and then they have what they call mining tailings, that they just leave and it's just crap. Well, this person from Colorado School of Mines actually is trying to come in and take the mine tailings and actually do sustainable things with them and reuse them and use them for other things. And I just thought, what a cool idea. So her whole thought is, hey, how can we, yes, let's keep mining, but how can we also do something that sustains and, recycles and, keeps the environment going too. So I like the creativity, I guess, is what I was blown away by solution-oriented thinking. It's not just a bunch of whining people complaining like we usually hear. It was like, here's what we're doing, and it's making a difference, and we're actually seeing results. I'm like, what an encouraging time. This was so cool. So there you go, man. Yeah, I loved it.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I appreciate that there are people out there that are trying to make a difference. Yeah. And, fighting against the machine, basically. Yeah. And
well, not even that. It's great. Just saying, we're going to go do this, and we hope you join us. It's not even that they're fighting against really anything in general. It's just, we're going to do our part, and I love it. And they're actually making, it was cool. Let's just say it that way, and of course they've got this huge convention center with all this technology, and oh my gosh, dude. I mean, they're into automation and artificial intelligence and machine learning and, city planning and crime scene investigation kind of stuff. I mean, it's just so cool. There's so much that this company does. And, it's this huge $60 to $80 billion company out of Sweden, that's all over the world now and has this division.
Hexagon,
yeah, it's just neat. It was, I love this conference, but this year was the first year that we had interactions like this, where we were seeing really the true impact that they're having, on the world. It's not just awesome. Here's our product, here's a sales pitch. It's more like, wow, this is incredible stuff. So nice. There you go, man. Oh, really quick. Let me grab a drink of tea here. I got to tell you about this. This is cool.
Wait, you skipped the important part about how you got COVID.
We'll get to that in a second, but okay. I had to get some tea or I was going to start coughing. So too late. A friend of mine, our neighbor, gave this tea to us like 3 years ago. It's Happy Lucky's tea, of course, which we love these guys.
So Brian's drinking 3-year-old tea. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it still tastes good. It's so funny because it's called Koala Bear Nasal Care, and I was laughing about it. And I was like, okay, whatever. He got it for us, and I thought, okay, cool. Well, and I tasted it, and it's really good. It's got spearmint and eucalyptus and menthol and peppermint, lemongrass, all those good things. Well, here's the thing. Apparently, it says it actually, because it's got nettle in it as well, and the combination of some of the other stuff, clove, ginger, all that, licorice. It's supposed to help clear sinuses if you have some congestion, and also supposed to help kind of calm a cough down. Oh, and okay. It's funny, when he got it for me, I didn't have a cold, and then finally had a cold in 2019. So I was like, okay, cool. I tried it, and I was like, that actually worked. Like, I didn't need to take, NyQuil. I don't take NyQuil, but whatever the equivalent is, I didn't need to. I was just drinking this, and I thought, this is pretty cool, man. Missing out. I can't with my heart medication. So
I know.
And then this time I thought, well, with COVID, I'm going to drink this because, if I get stuffed up or coughing or whatever, and I started drinking this stuff, and it works, dude. This is crazy. So it's like, great. I don't need to take drugs, dude. I just drink some tea. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna link it for anyone that's interested. You feel like a koala. Here's my theory, because I don't know for sure. Because I was wearing an N95 and KN95s the whole week. I was trying to avoid shaking hands. We were trying to stay away from people. But when you're around wall-to-wall people, you can't, and no one else is taking precautions. Of course. And everyone wants to shake hands, and it's like, okay, cool. And then I'm pulling the monk thing where it's like Daryl. Oh my gosh, Daryl's so funny. He was doing it too, where it's like, someone would walk up and like stick their hand in my face, and during when we were doing the interviews, and I'd be like, okay, fine, I'll shake your hand, but I was trying to be like, no, sorry, I'm not shaking hands, and most people were okay with it, but sometimes you just couldn't.
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of have to. Right?
Yeah, and as soon as they stepped back, he literally grabbed the hand sanitizer bottle and stuck it in my hand. It was awesome, and I was like, oh, I felt like Monk, dude. It was awesome. So that was hilarious, but we were doing everything in our power. But the first day we got there, we went into the room where everything was. We're like, we got to eat something while we're having this meeting. And I'm sitting there like with food in my hand, getting ready to take a bite. And the big boss guy walks in, and like his hand goes literally right in my face like this. And I've got food in my left hand, and I'm like, okay. And I shouldn't have done it, but I just did. And then I was like, I couldn't get to hand sanitizer. So I'm like, okay, I'm like trying not to touch anything with my right hand. Dude, I'm a germaphobe. That's sorry. Funny. And I'm like trying to eat at the same time. So this is like middle of the afternoon on Monday. The next morning, early in the morning, he messages everybody and says, I have a fever and I feel really bad. I'm taking NyQuil.
And so you've been maybe passing it along to everyone you interviewed after Monday.
Anyone.
Yeah, well, that obviously. But just think, remember the very first. Do you remember the very first deep thought we did, Brian?
Yeah. No, well, I don't.
It was
remember.
about. Do you ever wonder if the when you coughed or whatever that you gave someone else the flu and they died from it or something like that? It was along those lines.
Yeah, that's right.
I wonder how many people you infected after he infected you.
Probably everybody. Yeah, I mean, the whole world is probably dying right now, thanks to me. Thanks to him.
From different countries. I mean,
spread it out.
Wow.
The whole world's
I hope
going
he
down.
feels bad. I hope he feels bad. That's all.
Well, and then I contacted. Well,
you gave me COVID, Mr. Boss.
I'm kind of frustrated at that because I told him originally I wasn't shaking hands, and he I mean, I was like, I don't want to disrespect him, and he's a wonderful guy, by the way. Don't get me wrong.
I'm sure.
But I was just like, we could have avoided that. And I think it was because it was incubation, like the right amount of incubation time. And like everyone else, I was able to sanitize immediately. No one else was sick that I'm aware of, So, but then again, who knows, right?
It's pretty coincidental though.
It is. And that's what I was worried about. So that's where I think I got it. But I got home and like the day after I got home, I was like scratchy throat and I went, oh no, here we go.
Oh no.
And I took a COVID test on Friday and it came up negative. And then 2 days later, I took another one and it was positive. It was very positive. It was like, they instantly go positive. Yeah. And they say, well, usually it'll take close to 15 minutes. And it was like 1 minute. I'm like, whoop. Wow. Apparently I gotched it. So I've been, sanitizing and Cloroxing and trying to not, Sarah's been exposed, but I'm trying not to, and
she's not showing symptoms yet?
Hopefully not and won't. But no, and hopefully she won't. So yeah, we've been. What's nice is it's been nice enough for the most part that we've been able to keep the windows open too, which is good, and more fresh air and.
It's the new flu. I'm telling you, there's no getting around it anymore.
And everybody, the doctors believe now that it's endemic and it's just going to be the way it is. But it's one of those. I didn't want to take chances with the heart issue, even though it's a benign issue. I just didn't want to, and not to mention, Sarah's parents were in town. I never was able to see them, really. I mean, they stopped in and like hi from a distance, but I couldn't get together with them, and I was frustrated. That I was trying not to bring it home, and so anyway, it sucks, and it is what it is. But I got to tell you one really cool thing. So the day that I think this was on Sunday, I was not feeling well on Sunday, and my little cousins, were just like, hey, what's up? And they were like, hey, how was church today? And I'm like, well, I didn't go because I'm still sick. And they're like, oh my gosh. And so the 8-year-old goes, I want to call you and pray for you right now. She did that. That was really cool. I just wanted to say that's, the 8-year-old initiates the caring moment. That's pretty mature. That's pretty cool.
I like it.
Yeah, that's neat. Anyway, and I just real quick shout out to Jen Briney. She hosts the Congressional Dish. Hey, I think you would actually enjoy this one, Captain. It's a government podcast. It's so good. She does an amazing job with it. Anyway, she's been doing it for years and stuff, and she for a couple of years was going through and reading every single bill cover to cover.
That's insane.
The stuff. Yeah, she said that was brain damage, and after a while, she stopped doing that. But she's still aware of what's going on, and she said it's amazing the stuff that they hide in these bills that have nothing to do with the bill at all, but it gives that whoever's putting it together special whatever privileges and stuff. And it's a fascinating podcast if you like that stuff. But
it's good that she has the passion for that sort of thing, because I think that most rational people, when they read all that fluff and jargon and just legal speak and all that and see the stuff that they slip into those bills, would become extraordinarily disenfranchised, like extra disenfranchised with the legal system and our system of government as a result. But as long as she's centrist like me, I'm a proud hardcore centrist, by the way. I'm one of those centrists who feel like people on the left or the right are not very intelligent because they're on the left or the right. I'm that center. Yeah. I'm that center. But if she's like that, I think that would be an interesting podcast. I might check it out.
Well, and it's so funny because she was telling us, she's like, people will come up to her and they want to talk politics with her. She's like, I don't care about politics. She's like, what about the government? I don't.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I love. Well, and that's the thing. She's been able to separate that, because she says, here's what the government's doing and here's what I'm researching. But she's like, politics, whatever. They're all crazy doing it. And she's like, both sides are crazy. Which I agree with.
She's
too,
right.
Because
she's right.
Like in many ways, she's looking at it from, let's look at, here we go. Let's do this correctly. How does this benefit, and let's look at both sides. Let's take the goods from both sides, and which makes the most sense to me too.
Anymore. Of course.
Of course. And even she said, she's like, something like she originally registered as a Republican And she said, but it's not the same party that she registered for when she originally did. And she said, and then, she said they've changed.
Are saying the same thing.
And then she said, and the Democrats don't know who they are. They have no identity anymore. And so she's like, they're both crazy.
Yeah.
I love her opinions, by the way.
I'd love to we should get her on the show, honestly.
Yeah, she actually asked to be on, so I'd love to have her on.
That's awesome. Make it happen if she asked.
I don't want to get into politics on the show with her, though. Like, I want to bring her on and I want to talk about some stuff, but at the same time, it's so funny. Like,
we don't talk politics on this show.
No, but and she talked about it for maybe 15 minutes. And just like, how's your show going? Well, and she told us, and it's just interesting to see where she goes. But she said, I like not talking about it, when I'm on personal time, which was great. But you got to get to know Jen, and Jen is one person who will give you her opinion, whether you like it or not, and whether you're a fan of what she says or not. I hadn't seen her in 7 years. She's an old friend. So it was cool to actually, she was in Vegas at the same time, ran into her. And of course she got COVID, but it wasn't for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Her husband actually got it from someone else. Okay. No, we actually were talking about it. And she's like, yeah, her husband caught it elsewhere. We actually didn't even get to see him. So he caught it. And then when she came home, because she flew out to Oakland like the day we left too, and then came home and he had it and then she got it. So it's like, oh my gosh. And she hadn't had it either. So we were just like, man, none of us were like, hey, we don't want it. None of us want it.
And we were all vaccinated.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Before I forget, I'm just going to share this song because for some reason I'm on the plane, by the way, and I love, me. I've got that, the music that complements the turbulence mix on Spotify. Right. I love turbulence, and I'm sitting on this plane, and we had some intense turbulence heading out of DIA, man. And it was like, because it was over the mountains, and it was like, boom, and you're just like, when the plane's like doing this, and then it's just like, douche,
That's when I'm on my lorazepam and I'm gripping the seat.
And I'm just like, woo, I'm having a great time, So I've got, my Beats, how I was, I did a review on the Beats. This was the second time I got to test this out on a plane. My earbuds, the Beats.
Oh yeah.
Fits Pro. The Beats Fits Pro. The COVIDs. The Beats Fit Pro. So I had those in. Man, I'm still blown away. You turn it on to transparent, and then you turn it on to noise canceling, and it is a really nice noise canceling. But I'm just cranking it, dude. And I mean, we're hitting the turbulence. But this ODESZA song came on that I had put on the list already, and I'm loving the new ODESZA stuff because it's all kind of a little different than what it used to be. And it's called Wide Awake, by the way. And I'm listening to it, and all of a sudden it just gets into, and I played it for you too, and it gets into that beat, and it's got the guy in the background and the girl singing and stuff. And I'm just like, all of a sudden, like, it went from like the turbulence was kind of, what's the word? It wasn't like, it doesn't freak me out, but it was a little surprising. Unnerving? No, it wasn't even unnerving, but it surprises you. Okay. Because you're like, I didn't expect that. Some people it would be very unnerving or disconcerting, but for me, it's just more of a surprise. And so when this song's playing, I'm just like, dude, I'm loving this turbulence right now. It just feels so really, it's
more
like,
turbulence.
I'm like relaxed. I'm like laying back and I'm like falling asleep. And the whole plane's just getting thrown all over the sky. And it wasn't that bad.
Your drool's flipping off into people's faces.
People are upside down. We're at 0 G at this point, and I'm just like, oh, I love this. So we, anyway, ODESZA, Wide Awake. I know it's not for everybody, but dude, this one got me on. I just kept putting it on repeat. It was just so good. So I had to share that really quickly as just an amazing song. I'm going to have it on the list. The other cool part I was going to share was I'm still really nerding out on the recording music thing, like a lot, and I'm getting a lot closer to it. And in fact, what I was thinking about, I was watching a couple of people do they're taking like these little 28 key keyboard controller things, and they're doing more like electronic stuff or just some very basic. They did like the Weeknd, some stuff from the Weeknd, or even did like the Kate Bush song that we, from Stranger Things that everybody's been nerding out on right now. And they were using this little 28 controller and just kind of doing a couple things. And, from a piano standpoint, that's not, I need an 88 key if I'm playing piano, but for doing some other stuff, I think it'd be kind of fun. But like, let's take, for example, Illenium or even ODESZA, that I just mentioned. And one of the things I want to do is I want to go and I want to find out like what sounds did they use? Where did they get them from? How did they do this? What effects did they use? And I want to recreate what they did to the best of my ability with a keyboard controller and, the program I'm going to use, just so I understand how it's being done. Right. And then I can start creating my own, style of that, whatever.
It's like if you're a style. It's like if you're an amateur cook and you follow recipes of world-class chefs and you you do that over and over until you start to branch off and do your own little thing,
yeah, exactly.
Like change the recipe. Basically. It's the same thing.
Yeah. And, I've been composing piano music my whole life. And so not my whole life, but for a long time anyway. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that actually was, I think, originally inspired by, Yanni, simply because he never knew how to read music. He would actually create his own form of music and he'd write it in hieroglyphics, when he was growing up. And that's what he did. And so that whole story really inspired me to kind of create. And then I started doing stuff like that. And that's kind of the music that I've composed in the past. So the first thing that I do want to do is actually re-record the album that I recorded years back. Old technology doesn't sound very great. I want to re-record it with new technology and actual, sounds that sound real, good pianos and stuff like that. So I want to do that as well. And then I also want to experiment with that. So this is kind of the stuff I'm trying to figure out. I'm still trying to figure out what program to use. It is amazing. I ask anyone what program you use and it's different from everyone else. And I'm like, well, what did you think? Oh, it's amazing. What's the learning curve? Everyone's like, oh, it's great.
It's a learning curve.
Everybody has a different opinion on it though. So, the keyboard I'm looking at right now, the one that is kind of being recommended, especially if you're a professional classical trained pianist, it's an Arturia is the name of the board. And, anyway, it's a Mark II or something like that. It's an 88 key, but it's got pretty decently weighted keys. And they said, it's right now for a keyboard controller, not like an actual performance keyboard, by the way, but one that's a MIDI, style USB controller. It's about as close as you can get. It's one of the highest quality made right now, but it's $1,000. And I'm just like, and then honestly,
I'm not surprised.
That's cheap because, the keyboard that I bought 20 years ago, that was a performance keyboard was, well over 3,000. And, but the problem with getting those anymore is that when the technology is obsolete, the technology is obsolete. With controllers, at least it lasts based on the program you're using for the most part anyway.
Okay.
So $1,000 is cheap in the long run, but $1,000 is outside of my budget right now. So I'm like, I can't buy it and I can't record until I buy it. And that really makes me frustrated because I can't do it. So,
Patreon.
I'm 7 Blue 7, by the way. Thank you, 7, for the suggestion. He was saying, why don't you do like a buy me a coffee thing that says, hey, donate to the keyboard fund so that I can start, saving up for it.
Yeah, like what do you call them?
Great idea. Like a Kickstarter kind of thing.
Kickstarter, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want to do a full-on Kickstarter because it's not like, it's more of like, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to put the music out for you. Absolutely. If you want to watch it and maybe I'll do some videos with it. I don't know, but at least listen to it, I am going to do it and I'm not going to sell it, at least that I think of. I probably won't. I don't know. So yeah, I do have a buy me a coffee account that I've never done anything with. So I love your idea, 7. I'm going to do this. I'm going to just say, I'm going to put in the link to the YouTube channel in the description below, and I'm going to put in the link to the show notes. But if you guys want to help out, that'd be great. I can't buy right now. So it's, funds are a little tight. It's $1,000 is a big purchase one way or the other. They do have one keyboard, that little 28 thing I was telling you about. That's like $100. And I thought, okay, well I can do that.
Oh, wow,
I could buy the $100 one. And then
you can the 28 thing, you can just change octaves electronically, right? I mean,
but you can't do two hands and
right.
There's no way I could play the stuff that I personally recorded, but I could experiment with the cool part about that little $100 one is that I can experiment with like an Millennium style or a ODESZA style with that. And once I've recorded my actual piano part, then I could use that little 28 key to put in like other stuff like drums or, guitar or, violin or something like that. Cause you try to do violin stuff. So I can do that all with the little guy. So what I was thinking is, okay, $100 I could spend on that. I could at least start learning the new programs, and some of the new programs aren't too expensive, which is good. Some of them really are, but, and then, at least start experimenting and doing that. And then when I have enough money saved up for the $1,000 one or whatever, go out and get that. They do have some cheaper ones out there, and maybe that's what I'll go with. But people really were kind of like, man, if you're a pianist, you really might want to go after the Arturia. It's worth it.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And so I'm going to do it. Buy me a coffee. The cool part about this, and I know I've had some people say this in the past, is that, the one issue with Patreon is that they can't do monthly. And I totally understand that. And we do have a Patreon, by the way, patreon.com/TheRealBrian, which also is linked. All right. No, I'm sorry. Patreon.com/RealBrian Show, isn't it? I don't even know. I should look.
He's got brain fog, everybody. It's okay.
So I should probably look this one.
You'd never know from
Real
hearing
Brian
him talk
Show.
today.
I'm sorry. Patreon.com/RealBrian Show. I had to double check that one. Real Brian Show. Anyway, the link is in the description and all that. So, but I get it if you can't do monthly, and that's okay. That's more to support the show. But the Buy Me a Coffee thing, you can do a one-off, and it doesn't require, and it's still just as, legally legit as the other ones. It goes through the Buy Me a Coffee, all the, taxes and everything and all that are done properly, I guess is the way to put it. So that's nice. It's not like you're giving me money for free and then what are you going to do? You're going to report it. You're done. You're good. So let's do this. Let's see if I can do the Buy Me a Coffee thing, and let's see what happens. Maybe we can get this keyboard sooner, and then I'll actually start playing and putting music out for you guys. I think it'd be fun to actually play on the show too once in a while.
Okay.
I think it'd be fun. I mean, while you're doing your origin, it'd be like,
yeah, okay, yeah, background music. Why not?
See, that's what I'm talking about. You get it. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, speaking of an origin, what you got?
Oh, really? Is it that time already?
Dude, it is. What you got?
Okay, so did this come from you? This week's origin is 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
That is from me, dude. Because people,
okay.
Mystery Men.
Yeah, I saw that in '99 last time I was in Vegas.
Yeah, and he's like, "I'll be there in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail," or what? I can't do his accent because it's that what is he? The folk? I forgive you or whatever. Anyway, the Blue Raja. Anyway, the point is that's where I first really kind of picked. I've heard it a lot my whole life, but that's where I picked it up. And then a couple of people have said it to me recently, and I'm like, okay, I got to know this one.
I picked it up from a Disney movie back in the day. But anyway, so the most succinct definition I got was from a website. It was tinasworlds.wordpress.com. Nice. So isn't WordPress kind of like a? No, I don't think so. No.
Oh man.
Yeah, sorry.
Tiny Tina is awesome. WordPress.com.
Yeah, is WordPress.com, is that like some kind of like a general web, like hosting site that anybody can use?
So realbrianshow.com utilizes WordPress.org, which gives you, the blog. It's nice. WordPress.com is like specific blog only, and you have to use their style, but most people don't use the .com side. Anyway, but go ahead.
Tina, whoever she is, had a very nice little origin for this. So the meaning of 2 shakes of lamb's tail is, to me, it means very quickly or in a short time, very short time. Like, I'll do this very quickly, before you know it, basically. The origin is that the expression means in no time at all, because this is how quickly a lamb shakes their tail. It first appeared in Richard Harris Barham's book, Ingoldsby Legends, published in 1840. Sounds English. But since then, it has been reduced to just, quote, 2 shakes.
Yep.
For example, see in 2 shakes. I've heard that before. So now probably the expression is gradually disappearing because fewer people grow up actually seeing lambs wag their tails. However, a shake is a recognized unit of time equal to 10 nanoseconds.
Oh, wow.
So the phrase will probably be preserved among nuclear scientists.
Wait, so it's 20 nanoseconds essentially is 2 shakes of a lamb's tail?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's faster than I.
Even a lamb,
shakes,
even a lamb can't
minutes.
shake their tail that fast, right?
I mean, that's impressive. Well, thank you.
Was probably more like, I don't know how many nanoseconds, but more than 20.
Yeah. Well, that's impressive.
But that's neat.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the origin of it, and I like it. And I say 2 shakes or 2 shakes. It's just a fun phrase. I don't know why, but man, I love it. Cool.
Makes me want a milkshake, honestly.
Yeah.
I also want to mention one other thing. By the way, my voice is worse than yours, and you got COVID.
You've been screaming night terrors again.
I've been screaming at night. Yeah. I purely by accident this last week, I started looking into Warhammer 40,000 lore.
Oh yeah.
Now, I've known about Warhammer 40,000 for years, and I've never really been interested in it. I actually have a computer game that's a Warhammer 40,000 game that I liked. But I've never really been interested in it, and I'm even less interested in the old, the original Warhammer, which is like Lord of the Rings style stuff, elves and dwarves and orcs and all that. But 40K it takes place in the 41st century, and you would not believe the amount of lore associated with this franchise. It's crazy. It's like awesome. It's just like BattleTech. There's just people have sat down and just thought up a bunch of stuff, and they've compiled it into these compendiums or whatever, and you can just watch hours and hours of YouTube videos of these people telling you about this universe that these people made up. So yeah, that's what I've been kind of nerding out about that. I've been watching a little bit every night, and so
I love the creativity. That's neat.
Just the detail is just really fun to absorb, and immerse yourself in. So
that is cool. No, I appreciate you sharing that. Then that's cool. Other cool things right now, and I'm going to go through these very, very quickly, but the final 2 episodes of Stranger Things airs today. Yes. If you're watching this the day that this video and this audio comes out, this is it. This is episodes 8 and 9.
We got to get out of here, Brian, so I can go watch it.
I know, man. I'm excited. I'm pumped, dude. Strange New Worlds. Okay, I just got to say this because, we're not going through and reviewing all these, but I have now watched through, was it episode 7? Yeah, episode 7 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Yeah, and episodes 1 through, you've seen 8?
Yeah.
Okay, I have not seen 8 yet. So 8 will be, I think 9 just came out this week. But anyway, I've seen episodes 1 through 7. And for me, episodes 1 through 7 are some of the best Star Trek that I have seen in so long. I am blown away by it. It's so good. And for those that are criticizing the crap out of it, I'm like, I don't know what you guys are watching.
I don't know what planet they're on, honestly.
No, I don't see. It's so good.
I just don't see how anyone could possibly criticize, especially when compared to Picard or Discovery. It is leaps and bounds better than any other Star Trek franchise.
Modern Star Trek. Yes.
Modern. Yeah. They've thrown at us since Enterprise easily.
Yeah. Easily. It really does kind of feel like they're taking the quality of the older Star Trek days, the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, all that, and even Enterprise, and they're kind of like saying, hey, let's kind of bring that. And interestingly enough, too, it's the only Star Trek that's been PG rated versus the TV-14 or even mature, And I appreciate that because I think that's also leaning more towards let's just tell good story, and they're doing that, and the character development is so good. I've been blown away by the show, and it's been, and interestingly enough too, because you know how big of a fan I am of Orville. Orville is so awesome, and season 3 is out, and so I watched the first 2 episodes of Orville so far. I know that I'm a little behind. They're longer episodes as well, which is great, and I liked them, but both of the first episodes were a little slower in the start. Like the first half of the episodes kind of trickled in. There was a lot of drama and conversation and relationship kind of stuff, which I'm okay with, but don't give me too much of that. Let's be honest. And so I was like, it's been good. And then of course, episode 2, about halfway through episode 2 of Orville really starts to take off and you get some good story. But this is going to be weird to say, but I like Strange New Worlds season 1, episodes 1 through 7 better than I'm liking Orville season 3 so far. And that's odd for me to say that because Orville's seasons 1 and 2 were so much better than Discovery and, even Picard and stuff. But that's how much I'm loving Strange New Worlds right now. It's that good.
We both love it equally, clearly. So that's one thing. But I just have to say that if you're an old school Star Trek fan and you really you miss the days of DS9 and Voyager and all that, you just miss the old 90s Star Trek really bad, please give Strange New Worlds a try. You will not regret it. It's so refreshing. It just is. They haven't agendized it yet, and that's awesome. So.
No, that's the thing. I haven't seen anything like that at all. And believe me, I'm sensitive to it, and I have not seen it.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're of course there's can you nitpick something? Yes, of course. There's going to be something. Even the villain or whatever in episode 7 was not my favorite, and I could have said, they could have done better, but it's one of those, like, it's not so obvious that it's like it slaps you in the face and you're just like, all right, I have to talk about this. It's more of I have to go look for something to nitpick, and I don't want to do that. So anyway, blown away. Now, Obi-Wan, it's done. It's wow. I know there were a lot of people complaining about Obi-Wan too, and I'm like, I loved it. It was so good, and the actress that played Leia did so good, and Ewan did great, wonderful. Ewan. I can't ever say it right. It's like Ewan.
Scottish.
Ewan McGregor. Yeah. All right, well, he's bloody-tastic. I loved him as usual. I love it. And Hayden Christensen did a fantastic job too. He's excellent. Dude, what a great show, man. I was so pleased with Obi-Wan. Could they have done better? Of course. But you know what? Here's what I love about Obi-Wan. The nitpicks that we had with Boba Fett, the obvious nitpicks, like, did you guys actually watch Star Wars? Are you Star Wars fans? Kind of things that we would... Clearly, whoever did this show were Star Wars fans.
Yeah,
clearly.
Certainly much more than with Obi-Wan, with Mandalorian and with Boba Fett. So
no, they knew the prequels and they knew the originals, and Now, could it have been better? Were there some scenes and things that they could have done better? Yes, awkward, absolutely. Yeah. But I was just, once again, super duper pleased with Obi-Wan. And it's one of those two, like, I've seen The Mandalorian and I've seen Boba Fett, and I have no desire to go back and rewatch those. I can't wait to go back and rewatch Obi-Wan now. And that's saying something.
There was in the last episode, there was a lightsaber battle that was about the best lightsaber battle I've seen in Star Wars.
Yeah, so it's up there as either the top or the top 3. It was
certainly fantastic.
In the top 3. Yeah. So anyway, if you've not seen Obi-Wan yet, I highly recommend it. And I haven't talked about this show in a long time, but Superman and Lois, I just finished up season 2, or season 2. I just finished season 2. They dragged that season out. 15 episodes. It took them like a year to get through.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why they drag it out, but such a good show. I mean, so it is, yes, it's a CW show and it's that Arrowverse, but oh my gosh, I got to say that I think Superman and Lois is hands down the best Arrowverse show since
Arrow? Since
seasons 1 and 2 of Arrow.
Oh, wow.
Like it's better in my opinion than The Flash. And granted, The Flash is kind of, it started off strong and it's been okay since then, but I think they're running out of ideas. But Superman and Lois has just been so good, and I can't wait for each episode. And I'm sad that I have to wait for season 3 now. And then here's another one, and we're still talking about this. So much to talk about. We're gonna have to actually, save some of this for next week, I think. But Ms. Marvel, clearly a new Marvel show, brand new, and it's 4 episodes in, I want to say now. So this just came out, and it's a superhero, obviously, but it's Captain Marvel. She's like, she's a fan of Captain Marvel, and so she kind of goes off and does her own thing and everything. I was like, well, of course I'm going to check it out. It's a superhero show. And I was blown away because the ratings of the show have been really bad. They've been trashing the show. And I don't really understand why they are, but they've been just taking this thing to the cleaners, man. And so I was like, well, I'm going to watch the first episode and just see. Now, clearly the target of this show, the target audience, is going to be probably like teen girls and 20-something-year-old girls or something like that. It's a female targeted audience.
I can't wait to watch it.
Oh my gosh, like I'm so excited, but it's true.
You got to get on TikTok and tell everyone.
Yeah, no, I'm going to follow you on TikTok because I haven't yet. But anyway,
I know.
The girl is in high school that's playing it, everything. And so it kind of goes through that. So clearly it's geared towards that. But I got to tell you, like, I really enjoyed it. I've seen the first 2 or 3 episodes now. It's good though, but then there's this thing that happened at the end of the last episode that I just watched that I was just like, oh my gosh, now we're getting good here. So, it is Marvel. It is a little different. There are some weird things in there that I'm kind of like, oh, okay, that was weird. I don't know why they took that artistic license or went that direction, but it doesn't bother me. And I got to tell you that in no way do I feel like that it needs to be trashed. Mm-hmm. I don't know why people hate it so much. So I thought it was kind of fun.
Yeah, I have to mention, the last thing I have to mention before we move on to the end of the show, I saw Beavis and Butthead do the universe. Guys,
awesome.
It was glorious. I haven't laughed that hard in a very long time. My wife and I were both laughing our butts off watching that show. And we Beavis and Butthead was big when we were in high school. So we were indoctrinated to it back in the 90s. But it's exactly like the old Beavis and Butthead. It has a little bit of a modern twist. It's better than Do America. The best part is that they're releasing like 26 episodes of a new show in August that centers around the two as middle-aged guys who like watch TikTok videos.
Oh, no way.
And do social media and stuff.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I can't wait. And sometime in August, Rogan interviewed Mike Judge last week, and that's where I heard about it. So I can't wait. Yeah.
I started watching it. Okay, so it's so funny because Beavis and Butthead, like I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was a kid, when it was coming out, and that's okay because really like it was fine. Now then I started. I think the first thing I actually saw with Beavis and Butthead, like all the way through, was Beavis and Butthead Do America. I think I watched it in college, so it was not right when it came out, but I think that's when and Johnny Pistolshot and I watched it, and we were just like, oh my gosh, that was so bad. Like that was so dumb, but we were laughing because we're just like, this is really funny. And interestingly enough, today's standards, it's so much cleaner than most of the stuff that's actually out there. I mean, thematically, there's some adult humor in there, but
yes, yeah.
I was surprised how like it's so not. what's the word, like mature rated, like a lot of the stuff that's coming out right now. I was actually a little surprised by that. And I was just like, but I feel like Mike Judge is definitely, he hits on things that I'm just like, if you are a male and you were ever a middle school male, yeah, you get this. It's funny.
or early high school. Yeah.
I mean, it really is. And I was watching this, I'm like, this is so bad. It's so funny.
You almost have to be an original fan of the show to really enjoy it. But if you are an original fan of the show, it's very much worth it. So
that's so funny. I love it. Yeah, well, we've got more to talk about. In fact, I know you've got some cool game stuff that we're gonna chat about next week. But man, so much. But hey, thank you for joining us. This was kind of difficult for me to talk through, man.
But you did a lot of extra talking today. And you sound fine.
I made it. I'm blown away actually, because
what a weak COVID, man.
And I appreciate that. No, hey, say this again, man. What a strong man. What a strong body. What a strong superhero.
Deep thoughts with Captain Influence.
When you see a lamb shake its tail, grab it and tug really hard. If you're lucky, the lamb will bite your hand and then gift you with some poop. If not, then at least you can tell your grandkids that you pulled a lamb's tail once.
What a strong, specimen. What a strong masculinity. What a strong immune system to... Oh, sorry. You know what the music means. Thanks for joining us. It has been awesome. Make sure to join us in 2 Shakes of a Lamb's Tail, because we'll be back next week. Have a wonderful week. Thanks for joining us. Description, all those good things. Check them out. Good time. Real Brian Show. Signing off.
The Real Brian Show is a production of 514 Media at 514mediaempire.com.